All right, we've got trouble for Stellantis. Stellantis is pointing the finger at Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, and Jeep, and essentially making it pretty clear that they feel that they are failing in a very significant way. When your boss, pulls himself out of his vacation to come have a little chat with you, you know there's trouble. That is some very clear finger pointing. There's going to be some major mix up, a stir up, a lot of changes coming to the Ram, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge brand. They're failing, and it's been made really clear by the head, Mr. Tavares. So let's check this out. So we got right here, Mr. Tavares on holidays, and cut his holidays, I guess, in the middle, right short, to go check in on, he's the CEO of Stellantis, but he needed to check in on, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. He went to plants in the US. He came to the Canadian plant, talking to some very high up managers, even visiting some dealerships. And this spells trouble. There's going to be probably a silver lining at the end of this. One or two things will occur. Rich GT350R saying they did it to themselves. Yeah, a little bit of backstory here, and I agree with Rich GT350R. This is a really good. I love the live comments because we get to have a bit of a conversation. Outsider Reviews saying he's out, he messed it all up. Well, yes, but at the same time, he was following the market. So what happened? What caused operating income at Stellantis to plummet by over 40% in the first half of the year? Well, they went against the consumers, the buyers. Remember, in many episodes, I say we need to vote with our dollars. Well, the buyers, the consumers, the heart of, or maybe the legs, because it's what gets a company moving and keeps a company propped up. We'll call it us buyers and consumers. We'll say we're the legs of the auto industry. You can't get anywhere without us, or wheels. Let's not exclude anyone, but we're the legs here. We're what keeps the companies moving. And what do Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, Jeep clients want? Well, they've always wanted power, generally V8, and not electric vehicles. There has been some success, some good success with plugins. You think of the plug-in Jeeps, popular, but the plugins have done well. The Wrangler 4xe, there's other examples, but the 4xe has done extremely well, that plug-in Jeep. And here's the issue. They didn't cater to the people that are actually keeping the company up, propelled up, surviving. They just, went down the road of saying, we're cutting out the Charger and the Challenger, and then saying, well, we're not cutting them out. They're going to come back as electric vehicles. This is going back a few years. And then it was, well, they'll come back as a 6-cylinder and an electric vehicle, but the V8 is still out. Now, I can't just blame Mr. Tavares here, because there's a lot of politics involved in this, and I'm not going to go deep into politics. So don't unsubscribe, folks. I need you here. And please do subscribe if you're not already subscribed. 85%, a little over 85% of our viewers aren't subscribed, and it would really help us out here at Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Help feed and dress those poodles, and take care of the family here. We're a small family business. It'd really help out if you subscribe. But he went down the road of pretty much every manufacturer, not Toyota. And what did Toyota do different than the rest of the market? Toyota didn't just go all in on EVs, and this is why Ford's in trouble as well. Ford needs to rework their entire master plan. The master plan was, let's go full in on EVs. And that's what he did here. And that's one of the mistakes. This one's not on him. He made one mistake that's probably 100% on him. But he didn't do anything wrong in doing what the rest of the market was doing. And the rest of the market was going all in on EVs. But here's the issue. Your traditional buyers for Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Rams, they don't want EVs. Obviously, they don't mind plugins with a gas engine, but look, the Jeep 392, the Wrangler 392 brought so much positive attention to the Jeep brand. Cutting out the Challenger and the Charger altogether and then saying, we're just dropping the V8, there'll be a 6-cylinder. Not a great move. A lot of people aren't impressed that the Ram is going to be a 6-cylinder. And yes, he is bending to the pressure, the political pressure. There's this essentially carbon tax where your fleet average needs to be really, really high, or you pay billions in essentially fines, or you buy carbon credits from, let's say, your competitor, Tesla, making making it harder to get into the electric game. So that's not on him. It seemed like the only choice for all these big head honchos was to go all electric. I have said from the very, very early on this channel, so I'd say probably at least 2 years, but I think 3 or 4 years, I've been saying that I've always felt that plug-in hybrids are the best. Because us buyers and consumers, what do we worry about? We worry about ideally, we hope to be able to go on vacation a few times a year. And we worry about not being able to get there. I don't want to drive down to Florida and have to stop 13 times to plug in my electric truck and stop for, 45 minutes after losing a bit of time to go drive and find that charger. We just don't want that. We want something that is all encompassing, all inclusive, that we can do whatever we can think of with it. Even if it is only once or once a month or even once a year, we want to be able to do it. So electric vehicles, what do we, us consumers, ask for? A lot of range. Well, they can't offer us an incredible range of, 1,000 kilometers or 600-700 miles because of the cost associated with that. And anyways, that's just sending money. In most cases, that's just sending money over to China, which is your future down the road competitor. So not the best. But anyways, CEO of Stellantis went ahead, went down the road that pretty much everyone did, except for Toyota. But remember, Toyota's CEO stood his ground and said, I'm not going down this all-electric road. It's not the right path to take. And essentially it would look like he got pushed out. He's not there anymore. The one who believed in the gas engines and the plug-ins and just making gas engines and plug-ins more efficient and having better autonomy, he's not there anymore. What even annoys me the most about this is, for most of us, let's say a Ford Escape plug-in. That is an all-electric vehicle 99% of the time. Most people, what's the average distance people travel to work? It's about 25 miles, about 35 kilometers. So the Escape, 99% of the time, will take you to work and back, all electric. Unfortunately, the people making the rules don't understand this, and they count the Ford Escape as a vehicle that's about 70 miles per gallon, or about 3-4 liters per 100 kilometers. They're not taking into account how it's going to be used 99% of the time. Us buyers, that 1% of the time, we want to be able to drive straight to Florida and not have to recharge. A plug-in Escape or a plug-in Jeep, a Jeep Wrangler 4xe, you drive to Florida. You stop for gas. Well, if it's the Jeep Wrangler, probably, maybe 3 times. If it's the Escape, you stop for gas once. And that's what we want. But how the government rules are set up, they completely ignore that, and they don't treat these plugins like gasoline, like electric vehicles. So it's not enough to offset the production of all these trucks. That, as the US market, we love our trucks. As such, American automakers have had to run down the road of all electric vehicles, because the criteria behind those laws that will have them face billions of dollars in fines, or less, but still billions of dollars in bought credit taxes has to be someone in your industry. So Tesla, you're just helping out the competitor. That's what this guy faced. That's what's going on. Where was his mistake? Well, he did make one major mistake, and it's going to cost a lot of jobs. And that mistake is he didn't cut prices and I was talking about this. It's frustrating. As a community, we talked about this. You've said it in the comment section. I've said it loud and clear now. What was it, early 2023? I was saying, late 2022 saying, yeah, prices are going to have to maybe come down. And then in late 22, early 2023, it was clear prices need to come down. Ford brought their prices down, but Mr. Tavares over at Stellantis, maybe it was a lack of oversight, a lack of maybe he didn't micromanage it, but the prices did not come down. And what do Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram buyers, what have they traditionally always wanted? Great prices. They've been buying Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram products because while a Ram 1500 was less than the other trucks on the market. And it gave you a good, very good looking truck with a very cool engine, great sound. But, you know, thinner doors, it rusts, it's not perfect, it has its faults, but people wanted that low price point. But what happened? Prices increased tremendously everywhere, but they really went up at Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, and they never came back down. That's a major failing. That's on him. And now it's tough because now they've got inventories. And Outsider Reviews covered this really well, but he mentioned, you know, inventories are way too high. And it's true, inventories are so high. Some dealerships, you know, there's one dealership in the States that doesn't want to sell Ram, you know, the whole Chrysler Jeep Ram anymore. And they're telling Stellantis, buy back these vehicles, take them back, we don't want them. So probably over $100 million lawsuit is ensue. It's going down, and that's too bad because there's a lot of jobs tied around in this, and it's tough when you're the head CEO and you see your volume has gone down by, you know, 30%. 2019 sales were much better than they are today. Inventories are high. Do you cut prices? But then if you cut prices, but your sales don't dramatically increase, your bottom line, you're not making more money, and they need to make more money. That's what needs to happen. So unfortunately, they're cutting jobs. They're offering buyout packages, asking people, you know, say, take this money, go into retirement. And it's tough. It's tough, folks. So that's what's going down in the truck industry as well as SUV and cars. Not pretty, folks. It's a bloodbath out there. There's going to be a lot of potential plant closings, but some of those plants actually might not close because one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to take the risk and say, you know what, we're going to dramatically cut back prices and then hope that volume goes up 30 or 40% by cutting back prices. As Outsider Reviews mentioned in his video, they need to cut prices by about 20-30%. It'd be a risk to take. The easy road is just to lay people off and say, well, volume's low, we're laying people off. But the long term, not so good. So the other thing that could happen, well, you've got, hopefully, Chrysler. Chrysler may partner up, may either a partnership or just sell right out to BYD, but BYD needs to get into the automobile segment. They want to sell. They're selling vehicles really well in Europe. And BYD wants in. So BYD is a Chinese company. They're making what so far is seen as inexpensive, relatively inexpensive, cheap vehicles that are selling very, very well. They've surpassed Tesla according to some studies, they've surpassed Tesla when it comes to, you know, innovation, quality product. So they're not making a bad product. So what's going down? Let's talk about this.